Thanks, Aaron.
All right, so today our speakers, we have our Trinity Lutheran Kid Club, a couple of kids from that, and then Wendy, the advisor, and also Rachel is here. Both of them help advise our Key Club at Trinity Lutheran, so we get to hear an update on them and what's going on and what we can do. Trinity Lutheran is one of the things I saw that I thought was a great, how they define themselves is they are a place where people in the Bend community can go to feel a sense of belonging, experience the love of Christ, and become equipped to make an impact in Bend, Central Oregon, and beyond, which is what we all hope for kids when we raise them, and the people that are involved will help them pass that on. And Wendy is a Humanities and Academy counselor with Trinity Lutheran.
So my special guests today include Rachel Vanderkamp, who is our Spanish teacher, and she has become my co-advisor for this year, so I'm excited about that. And then Eli Spittler, who is our INI vice president, and our Audi vice president, Emma Nordstrom, and I will tell you about our previous year, our Key Club year.
So this year we had 24 registered Key Club due-paying members. 19 earned at least 10 points in our point system. So we had a fairly active club. We graduated 6 seniors, and 2 of them received scholarships from you guys. So thank you for your support. Here's our 6 seniors.
All 6 of them going on to college to study lots of really great stuff, actually. I'm very proud of this graduating class. And our 6 seniors, 5 of the 6 of them were on our executive board last year. So our president, our vice president, secretary, and communications webmaster. Our point system, I think I talked about last year. Since we went to our point system, it's alleviated some of the stress of the advisors and the executives for kids who sign up, and you guys have this here too, but don't actively really participate a whole lot. It really upset us for the first few years, and then once we devised the point system, it's kind of alleviated a lot of the stress. If you don't want to participate a whole lot, that's okay. If you do, you earn points, which get you merchandise like Key Club Fund prizes, your Key Club pin, and then your junior and senior points get you your stoles. Because we had a couple of kids in the past who had joined Key Club just as seniors, wanted that stole, and then weren't really active. And so we went to the point system so that they actually have to earn the right to be able to wear that stole for graduation. And it's worked. 19 earned at least 10 points. Julia right here earned the most points with like 40 some, I think, this year. But the average was probably about 16 or 17 points. You get points for coming to meetings, doing service, and engaging in certain events and activities. Our concession stand is our main fundraiser, and once we got the concession stand, we were able to stop asking for money from our administration and stop asking to do fundraisers, which they always told us no. So this was our main fundraiser. We are now relied on for any time the church or school needs a concession stand. So for the car show, for the back to school barbecue, for our sports events, and for our musicals. We do the concessions, we vary what we offer based on the event, and work in partnership with like the car show committee at church and with the athletics department also in case they want to showcase anything. Our head of school, our executive director, actually donates his tri-tip sandwiches for the first basketball season of each year, and some people come to that basketball game just for his sandwiches. And then for the car show, we have a different church member who does smoked pulled pork sandwiches for us, and that is a big draw also. So we're able to finance our activities, our snacks, our food, help ourselves get to decon, and we, for the first time this year, were able to use some of our own money for funding some of our service projects. And so it's all thanks to the concession stand. It provides a lot of opportunities for Trinity high school students to earn their service hours. We require 50 hours every year that kids engage in service, and a lot of kids get a lot of their hours through working the concession stand for us, which is nice for us.
So we sent 6 students to district convention this year, which actually all of our innies went except our secretaries. And Senora was able to go. It was service with splash, so it was water themed, and we won the early bird due award, the secretary report being on time, and then 6 members having 65 hours each.
Service or more. Eli went for his first one. Of the kids who went, which is not the best picture of the world, but of the kids who went, 5, it was their first time, and they loved it, and we're already talking about going for Seattle this next March. It's during our spring breaks, so we'll see how that works out, because we won't technically be in school, but the kids are already excited about going again. And the people who had been at DCON for several years said it finally felt like a pre-COVID DCON. We finally got most of those numbers back, but still only about 3/4 of the largest amounts of participants that they had seen before COVID hit. But still there was 2,300 or something like that there, which was rather overwhelming. There was a lot of people there. So thank you, though, because your club helps provide money for each of the kids to go. And in our first couple of years of going, we could not have gone without you. And so we thank you very much for that support that you have given us to help us go to the district convention each year.
And then our big service project this year was hygiene kits that we made for Saving Grace, which is a local women's and children's shelter here in Bend. We organized them in purple bags, and they contain hygiene supplies, toothbrushes, toothpaste, a journal, pen, candy, basically everything that they had asked for. We funded from our own funds, and then we got a grant from Diamond Financial, and then donations from the local dental office.
Her parents' local dental office. This service project, I didn't have to do anything for. Emma did it all, like everything. And I mean, I ordered some stuff from Amazon. I think that was all that I had to do for it. And that's what Key Club's all about, is empowering the kids, for the kids to see a need, to do all the contacts, to make the list, to organize the other kids, because we had other students that helped pack the bags. And thank you, Emma, for making the Saving Grace bags happen. We did a similar project for them, I think 3 or 4 years ago, right around COVID, somewhere around there.
It was like March of 2021, so. Right?
Yeah. And the bags looked much nicer this time around. We used Ziplocs last time. But it was just, Emma did a great job of organizing it. It was wonderful. Our other big services are food drives, and I know that we've reported some of our drive results in the Redmond Kiwanis newsletter. So we do 3 drives each year, working with the church also. One in July, so it's coming up. One in kind of beginning of the school year, September, October-ish, and then the other one is our Super Bowl of Caring drive that culminates on Super Bowl Sunday, in which we have the bins with the 2 teams, and it's very competitive depending on the Super Bowl year. People will steal cans from one bin and put it in the other bin to try to designate who they want to have win the Super Bowl. But we had over 3,500 pounds come in since last July. And so we work with the Bend Food Project on it. They come and pick it up from the school. We send home the green bags with church members and with school families. And it's so routine that people start to ask too early, actually, for when is like Super Bowl going to happen. Well, we need to know who the 2 teams are going to be, and then we will put the bins out. But it's just become routine for the church and school families. And I like that, and it makes it easier to run. Don't have to spend as much time on advertising, getting people to participate, because it's happened already.
Our other service projects this year included making blankets for our local shelter, which we often did during meetings. We purchased $375 of food for Grandma's house. We did a summer blood drive, cut out stockings twice for the Daughters of the American Revolution. for their veterans project that they do at Christmas. We did a lot of mental health awareness this year. We did Wellness Wednesdays, so on Wednesdays we do something revolving around mental health awareness to bring awareness to suicide, depression, anxiety, and then we did a breast cancer thing in the fall this year. We wrote thank you notes to veterans, first responders, and teachers, and that was all year long. And then we planned spirit events and theme days for our basketball games.
And Grandma's house is a house in Bend that's been around for at least 20 years, I think, in which teen moms can go. Specifically if they're homeless or their houses, their parents kind of kick them out. And so we asked for matching funds from our administrator, and he actually said yes. And so we had matching funds from our administrator, and then we had a $100 donation also from Sydney Crowther over in the Bend Kiwanis, trying to get the Kiwanis going. And so they were very thankful. As soon as we brought it in, the moms started digging through, and I know what I'm going to make for supper tonight. And so it was really sweet to not only do the shopping, but also do the delivery. So just a few pictures from this year. Our deconners, our division, we're the flamingos, and so sage green and hot pink are our colors. So we dressed up for spirit and had our flamingo floaties. I'm sure Eli's so excited that that picture's there for all of you to see. And then waiting for one of the mega forums. And then we had a spirit wear your Key Club gear for Key Club Week, which is in the fall, usually the last week of October, beginning of November. This is a close to a full group picture from this spring, and then some kiddos working on blankets. They're just the tie ones, just cut the little strings and tie, the fleece blankets. But we do have changes ahead, so we're working on getting that Bend Kiwanis up and going. We have a meeting tomorrow, actually. I think we're 1 or 2 members away from being able to charter, so hopefully that will happen soon. Caldera is finally chartered. That took forever for that check to be cut by the school district, but Caldera is indeed chartered. And so my Key Club will be able to experience having inter-club events for the first time. We've tried to do it a couple times with Redmond. It never really worked out. I've already been working with Caldera, the new LTG actually, to try to do some inter-club events. And so I'm excited to have more than one Key Club in Bend. And the girl who made Caldera's Key Club happen is going to be our LTG. And so we're going to have an LTG for the first time in like 3-ish years for our division, which I'm very excited about that too, because COVID really knocked our division down. And so hopefully we'll be able to get clubs up and thriving again in Burns and Nissa and Madras and Ben and Redmond, and there's 1 or 2 other small. John Day, all had clubs that were really healthy and thriving before COVID, and then COVID kind of killed them. And so hopefully Reese is her name, she'll be able to help get those clubs up and going. Yeah.
We got a bunch of new members, I'm not sure how many here today.
Yeah.
How it was that Redmond associated.
How this happened?
Trinity. Key Club.
We chartered right before COVID hit. And so we chartered right before COVID hit, which kind of made life really rough to start with. And right as the Bend Kiwanis Club was disintegrating and officially disbanded. And so Bend has not had a Kiwanis for, someone can correct me on this, 5+ years, and a really active Kiwanis for probably longer than that. A lot of the people who had been in the Bend Kiwanis were getting older, and they just didn't have the younger ones to do a lot of the heavy lifting, which I know you guys know exactly what I'm saying. And so we wanted someone to help us. We kind of flew by ourselves for a year or so, and then a connection just kind of happened with Redmond Kiwanis, and you guys have been so great to help us, to sponsor us. We love reporting to you and bragging about what we've done to you. And we've helped a couple times with
To us or with us?
Perhaps both. And so we love this relationship here. So I was already talking, what is this going to look like? We've got to wait for Ben to actually become chartered and be official. At the same time, you overall are a much healthier club than what they're going to be, at least in the short term. And so we'll see what the next year or two looks like we might be balancing in between 2 different Kiwanis clubs that we're working with and talking to for a couple of years until Ben really gets a mass that can support 2 clubs, not just one, but help support 2 clubs. Thank you, Rob. So thank you for the support you've given us so far. I really feel like we're a healthy Key Club. People in the church and the school both know, for the most part, who we are and what we do. We constantly work with trying to, how many kids is enough kids, but we had, what, 135-ish students in the high school this year, and we had 25 belong to Key Club, and that's pretty good, you know? When I beat myself up about how we don't have 40 or 50 members, that's probably not realistic for our high school, especially when so many of our kids are in so many other things. So there's our year in a nutshell, so thank you.
I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Tell me about, so you have students, they go through Key Club, they grow. Tell me about the growth.
I've seen, well, and Emma's a natural leader anyway, but this next year's executives, to pick on them, okay? At the beginning of this year, as I'm sitting with my existing executives who are leaders on the basketball and volleyball court, who are the stars of our musical, who are in our student government, I'm a little nervous about who our executives are going to be next year because the juniors are all really quiet kids that are not super involved. And when I started asking, okay, who are my executives going to be? These really quiet kids who are not super involved or loud are like, okay, I mean, the girls kind of beat up on Eli and forced him to be vice president. But the girls are like excited about leading and coming up with some new ideas. And I don't think if it was for Key Club that like Tegan and Courtney would be thrusting themselves into this role of leadership. And I think Key Club feels like a safe place to do that. Because we're focused on service, we're not focused on like putting on prom, where if it doesn't go well, people are like, prom was horrible. We're putting on a service event and people aren't going to complain about it being horrible. It's a service event, you know? And so I've been able to see some quiet kids find their place in Key Club, and I think that's a lot of what Key Club's all about.
Well, thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
I just want to applaud you for helping the students get to the convention, because I think it's a great inspiration. And to see other students do what you'd like to be doing and finding out it really can happen is pretty powerful. And the group that activates that, that level is a real inspiration. So I'm pleased to see that you figure out the financing and the transportation and all that, and certainly those of you that are advisors, because that's the toughest part. Is to find advisors that will be motivating and enthusiastic and just applaud you for that role, because it's really serious. I mean, you obviously culture the group is outstanding, and we're proud to be able to hear about that or sponsor it or however we can. And how do you do that?
Thank you. Yeah, it always disappoints me when I'll be talking to other advisors, either online in a forum or whatever, and they're like, oh, I'm not going to take that. We're not going to do convention. Or now it's school districts. Just won't provide the bus, won't do the stuff that needs to be done to get kids to convention anymore, and it's really disappointing. So I don't think the decons, which our decon is the largest district and pretty much the largest decon in the U.S., I don't think they'll ever be at the amount of kids and participants that they were 10 years ago. The districts are just dialing it down and not providing the money and the support for the Key Clubs to have the kids go. So it's getting much harder for public schools to be able to go to something like decon.
The school never supported our clubs at all.
Yeah.
Not, and apart from the staff.
Yeah.
Apart from the staff.
Yeah.
And so the clubs, we're talking about your club, the Key Club, and the Kiwanis clubs are the catalyst for the funding. So it's appropriate, I think, that you call on the sponsored clubs and those in the region, make sure that your students go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number two is that, I want to say, is that two of our past Key Club presidents have gone to international fame.
Yes,
And,
Kyle
and
Hansen. Yeah.
Bottom line is that it's been a great leadership foundation
It is.
for where students have been able to develop their competence and skills, have the leadership skills that we're talking about now, and just great things. One's in the capital, Washington D.C., and one's returned to Central Oregon, but is a off-site technical engineer for a major pharmaceutical company.
It's crazy when these kids speak. Like our new president or governor, she was only a sophomore and gave a most amazing speech. Every year that I go to decon, I come back so inspired by what high schoolers can do, and so frustrating with the rest of the world that thinks they can't do anything and that they're bums. And I'm like, not my key clubbers, let me tell you, not my kids. They're great. And high schoolers have a lot of potential if you just work with them and give them a chance.
Good. Awesome. Any other questions?
Wendy, are your kids aware that there are Circle K clubs in college?
Yes. Yeah, I guide them to look for them. Not as many Circle Ks as I would really like to see. And so I encourage them to look to see if there are Circle Ks. I don't know if anyone's been at a campus that has had one and joined one yet. I know at least one or two people have considered their future college choice based on a Circle K, but really it comes down to money when we talk about college, so, but they know.
So, yeah, a few years ago, Garrett Crouch was a key clubber at Ridgefield. And he went on to Linfield and joined the Circle K.
Yep.
And got very involved in earning himself some scholarship money.
Yes, yeah, and one of our kiddos is going to Linfield next year, so I'll bug her again to reach out to look for Circle K.
Cool. Okay, just as a sidebar here, we are working actively with the Ben folks, Cindy Crowther and others, to help get the Ben Club going. We will be the sponsoring club, much like 1937. Ben was our sponsoring club, so you know that matters. So keep you appraised of how that all develops shortly. All right, final quote of the day in honor of our speaker. Quote, "I love giving back to the community. Key Club is the best way to do it." 2020 Key Club member. All right. Yes, Amber.
I just want to say something really quick. I know next week is 4th of July week. A lot of people tend to take it off, or businesses don't have events.
Right.
We are having a meeting, and John Baldwin will be here from Honored Flight to come in and talk to us about that. So if you can please, if you're in town, please take the time to come down and honor his time for coming in and seeing us.
And you will have your president back next week. All right. Thanks, guys.